I never want it to be a thing where I'm saying that their jobs aren't valuable. What I'm saying is like a lot of the ways that the market kind of demands they behave or incentivizes them to behave are things that I personally don't value.
This is a message brought to you by Patrick and Dale from Challengers Comics. It's pretty good.
In the Midwest, you know the best is there waiting, so come and join the conversation. I still approve, fan and artist and creator too. This is how the challengers do. What? Keep the conversation moving along. Keep reading comics, keep your local store strong. It gets hard and it's a job for the challengers. What? Comics and conversation, y'all.
From
Challengers Comics in Chicago.
This is Contest of Challengers, a comics industry business podcast with
Patrick Brower.
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 Patrick Brower and W. Dal Bush.
W. Dal Bush.
Dal Bush.
Dal Bush.
Dal.
Dal. Dal.
Dal.
W. Dal Bush.
Here's Patrick and Dal.
Okay, yes, this is a comics industry business podcast. You may have heard that once or twice, exactly.
Yeah, I've definitely heard you say it several hundred times.
And also, like, we all just heard it.
Yeah. I mean, the left ear, I heard you say it.
Oh, yeah.
Here, not
Perfect. Yeah, get it. So that means we're a comic book business store. Dal, what do we... That's right. We sell comic book businesses. Does anybody want one? So what do we sell, Dal?
Comic books.
And what aren't comic books?
Aren't comic books.
Well, hold on. What are comic books made of?
Oh, paper.
What is paper not?
What is paper not?
I mean, yeah, there's
Waterproof?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah. There has been a significant amount of rainfall in Chicago this year where we've already broken records.
Have we really?
Yeah.
Wow. Go Illinois.
And longtime listeners or short-time listeners of this podcast may have heard us talk about how poorly our building was constructed back in 2007 when it was built.
Yep. There are gingerbread houses that children make that have more structural stability about water and moisture than our building has.
And our windows leak regularly, but, you know, at a normal pace.
And I want to be clear, not just the windows, like the building leaks.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't just like, oh, there's a seam here. And it's like, no, structurally the building leaks.
Yeah, water always gets absorbed under our front door and into the carpet. There's plenty of nights where we set up fans blasting that area overnight. Otherwise, it just doesn't dry because it's underneath the runner. Yeah,
but so like we had a string of a few months recently where it rained really heavy and we didn't see any moisture anywhere in the store. And we were like, wow. I mean, we didn't do anything differently all of a sudden, but maybe this is behind us.
Every year, once or twice a year, we get some massive storms that just somehow affect the building. So to recap, the way buildings are built, especially stone buildings or brick buildings or concrete block buildings or cinder block buildings, is, you know, it's stone and mortar connecting them. But to trap out the moisture, or not trap it out, but to direct the moisture, the building runs rope down inside and along the brick to absorb the moisture and channel it down to, like, say, hey, go this way.
Okay.
And every couple of, I don't know the specifics, but every couple of feet, there's supposed to be a row of angled metal flashing that the water from the rope will hit and run out of the building.
Okay.
It'll run out and down the front.
Okay.
To keep it from going straight down into the building.
Sure.
And our building, we have that. You can see if you ever look on the outside, and this is not a 1845 Western Avenue thing. This is a building thing. If you look at the bottom where the cement of the building meets up with the sidewalk of the street, you'll see little knotted bits of rope hanging out at the bottom. And that's where all the water, like the ropes come down there. Our previous landlord described them as tampons, building tampons. But it turns out our building doesn't have the flashing to direct the water. And it's a 4-story building.
Yeah.
So all that water comes down to us. Over the years, we've had the most problem with the middle section of the front windows, or actually the section of front windows right by the front doors, because of how poorly the deck above us was built and how all the water from that deck runs into us.
Yeah. As you get further into the store, what's above us is just residence.
Yeah.
So it's just, there's not like any exterior stuff other than the wall but right above our front door is someone's outdoor deck. So rainwater and snow and ice can really collect there further into the building than it can anywhere else in the store.
Do you remember the one winter years and years ago where they went, or whoever lived there at the time, went on vacation and either left a door open, like their patio door open a little bit, so cold air came in, froze one of their pipes, and it burst.
Yeah.
And that was raining down on us. Well, this was one of those rainstorms that was so bad, the entire building was leaking. And I mean, from the bank down to us. Black River got hit real bad with flooding. To make life easier for them, they're just a stone floor.
Right.
They don't have carpet. They had to immediately pull everything out of the front window. But water was coming in everywhere at Challengers, from sidekicks all the way to the alley, and not just at the windows, but like straight down from the ceiling, like in the middle of the floor.
Wow.
And I don't know if it was probably just running that way.
Probably.
But as you pointed out, we sell paper. Paper is not waterproof.
No. It is not even just absorbs it.
Yeah. And this was, unfortunately, Friday afternoon when Kate and I were checking in the week's new books. And I check in the lunar shipment in sidekicks near the front windows. So when Kate comes to get me and says, hey, some customers say that the windows are leaking, I had already been getting a couple of little splashes. So I run out to check Challengers, and it's bad. Then I have to run into sidekicks and pull those tables as far away from the windows as possible so they don't get water everywhere. And we don't have enough towels and buckets for everything to leak simultaneously.
Yeah, I mean, the length of the store is pretty long. It's probably, several hundred feet from end to end.
The building itself, you mean?
I mean, our storefront.
Okay.
Say each window is 5 feet.
Yeah.
It's over 100.
Yeah, sure. I'll give you that.
So that's a lot of space to have buckets and towels for.
Yeah. And then it's a matter of, you can't stop the leaking. All you can do is kind of try and control it. We rigged up this weird system in the front window that has served us well in the past. But for the last couple of heavy rainstorms, unnecessary.
Yeah.
Doesn't do anything. Even this time, that part was unaffected. It was the drama section that had the most water coming in, and then followed by the alley, which is always
pretty bad.
Yeah. There are pictures that will probably be the header image for this, just of shelves moved around, ladders and buckets. But I mean, it was siphons and towels and buckets. And I joked to the day after the 4th of July, actually. I was talking with Nick from Black River because he had come to do cleanup and he was taking all our laundry out. And I'm like, I'm just going to hide all my towels in with yours.
There you go.
He's like, I'll do your towels for you. I'm like, no, that's all right. Just because he has to take them home to do them. They don't go somewhere, they don't have a service. Remember when they were trying so hard to get laundry in the building, but it just,
right.
The venting and the ducting was just too much of a hassle. Yeah. Yeah. That would be great though. There was a point years ago, I'm like, yeah, that'd be great. I'll pay for this with you. I'll just do my laundry here.
Sure.
That was a different time. But yeah, paper is not good when it's wet.
No.
We lost a stack of illustrated boxes.
Yeah. The ones that were closest to the window.
Yep. The ones that were right at the point where the gutter hangs down the most. Mm-hmm. So I did yesterday, since that gutter is adhered to the window, not to the frame. For whatever reason, it really hangs on the lower left side.
Yeah.
So I prop that up so it's as high as possible. See if that'll actually do anything. And yeah, I left you. I don't know how much of this I want to actually talk about because I don't want to put images in people's mind of damaged product that's out for sale because there isn't any. Yeah,
We would do.
no. But there are some things that we sell that got wet, but they're covered in plastic.
Yeah.
So they were easily dried.
Yeah, like if a shrink wrap book, for example, which this we're not talking about, got like someone spilled something on it, we would just wipe the spill off. The book's fine. That's what the plastic is for.
Yeah.
Someone spills something on a comic book, that comic book gets thrown away. We've had to do that before.
Yep.
Because it's like, oh, this is not sellable now. This is damaged product.
Hey, did you notice that we started suddenly getting a bunch of lunar? We need your strip cover returns for these damages.
I haven't seen that. No.
Oh, today I got several.
Oh, I think it's just you.
Okay.
I don't.
Oh, dang. I'm glad I left them. I read them, but then kept them as unread because I'm like, well, if Molly doesn't get to these.
So sure, going to get.
Yeah.
She's not going to see them.
Yeah. So it was a couple of.
There's a lot of lunar communication that just goes to your email address because your email address was what set up the account. Even though you specified like challengers at.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's specific things that only go to you.
Great.
Sorry, Patrick. Can't help you with that.
So I have to tear all the covers off of any book we reported as damaged in like the last month.
Okay.
And send photos.
We keep all those, so it's fine.
Yeah, we do, but some of them are in different places and I have to go get them.
Sure.
And it's like, I don't need another thing to do on a Friday.
You don't have to do it on Friday.
I think we have like 2 days to get it done.
What, they sent it today?
Yeah.
Well, that would give you until like Monday.
No, they give me until Saturday.
They can't count Saturday.
I don't know.
I mean, it's. I get that they want them back, but like when you have your weekly order coming in and 15 other boxes,
Yeah.
they will go out by Monday. Like I think within 3 business days.
No, it's just a photo.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I don't. We have to send them back. We just have to send them a photo.
And I mean that you can just have somebody tear them up and then take the photo on Saturday. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, but the other person is also doing work with me tomorrow.
That's where it's Saturday.
Oh, I see.
Saturday you can do it.
I see.
There's nothing to unpack.
Yeah. So anyway, I left you not a surprise. I did warn you about it, but all of our posters that we sell are bagged and boarded. They're bagged and boarded, so they are in plastic, and the flaps are at the top, and that's important. So if any, so basically, yeah, as Dal said, they're in the splash zone. Look, even more. These just keep coming. Bam, bam, bam. We already got the lunar one.
Yeah. Well, so
Wow.
real quick aside, as I'm sure Patrick and I have both mentioned before, we get 1 million status updates from UPS. We get tracking information from a variety of our vendors, and that tracking information then goes to the UPS system where they will give us notices saying, hey, this is coming tomorrow. Hey, this is coming later today. Hey, this has just been delivered. But the thing is, we get a notification email for every single box. So when we get a shipment like this week's PRH, which is a few boxes of comic books, nothing too huge, nothing too special. I mean, there's like Avengers Armageddon, I think, but it's not an insane week. But then we also get 2 or 3 different boxes, like illustrated comic boxes that Marvel's doing for the month. And sometimes we get a few different cases of those. Each of those is its own email. So we will get like 17 emails just about the new PRH books because it's, 6 boxes of comics and then like 11 boxes of these boxes of boxes. It's ridiculous. So we're getting those all day. And our gaming supplier will send out notifications about tons of new product that they're taking orders for. But the problem is it's literally everything they carry, including 90% stuff we don't stock.
Right.
Sports cards,
Playmats.
playmats and gaming supplies. And it's like, look, I get it. You never know who's going to say yes to that. But it's like, there's no chance of me getting U.S. men's national team and U.S. women's national team World Cup trading cards. Like, that's just not going to happen. We're not stocking those. We don't stock sports cards, and that's not going to be the first one we carry. Sorry to all you soccer or football enthusiasts out there.
Football, but thank you. I do wish that there was some sort of digest of like, hey, here's everything that's available today. Not each thing is its own
Yeah.
email.
Like for Alliance, and I know we're way off track from what you're talking about, but
No, it's fine. There's no.
for Alliance, where we get all of our like non-comic product, all of our toys and stuff, we get one email a day. And that email is a spreadsheet of everything they've got new in their system, which is great. That email comes in, I look at the spreadsheet, I decide what I want to get.
I'm sorry.
Done.
Who are you talking about?
Alliance.
Just showed up. That email just hit.
They will also, like, maybe once a week or so, send out a, hey, here's an in-stock email, as opposed to pre-orders, which will be coming out over the next month to year. The in-stock stuff is like, hey, maybe if you overlook some things that you didn't order, these are available right now. You can order them. They'll ship to your store. That's great. Couple emails a week. Well, 5 emails a week of pre-order stuff and 1 email a week of in-stock stuff. Perfect. I love it. That's what I want for my supplier.
Yeah. Yep.
I do not need Entertainment Earth, Summit Hobby, even PRH. Multiple emails a day of stuff. Like, that's too much. It's way too much. It just becomes like it's just telling me at a certain point, like, start deleting these. Start not reading these because they're giving you way too much to pay attention to.
I definitely think many of our publishing partners send out too many emails.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even talking about like
I know.
publishers.
I know.
Which is, you're right, and it's a whole different thing. And we've complained about that before with Image, especially. Like, and it's going to get worse in the next couple of weeks as we hit San Diego week.
Oh yeah.
And publisher announcements will happen because you won't get an Image email for the day or a DC email for the day. You'll get
Every single announcement.
mail over a 15-minute period as a publishing panel just ended, and they announced a bunch of new miniseries and one-shots and ongoing series and whatever. And it's like,
The trend is
just would be great. A little catch-all of like, hey, here's everything Image announced today. Perfect. I love it.
because everyone's afraid of being buried in the news cycle. San Diego is now a 1-month news cycle.
Sure. There was just a notice I saw. It wasn't an email that we got, but it was a thing I saw on like a comic news blog that I apparently must have gotten the press release from them. Ignition announced like 6 new people that are working for them. No books announced, but just like, here's people that are going to be doing stuff for us in the near future.
Creators or like
Creators.
Okay.
Like they've recently, I think maybe somebody else did like an editorial signings email. Like, here's people that are now working in our editorial and publishing departments.
We got one of those for Dark Horse the other day.
Yeah.
Showing all the changes and shuffling and whatnot.
Yep.
And with everything going on with Dark Horse in the news, my first thought was, oh no, is it more layoffs?
No, it was going the other way.
Yeah.
And I don't begrudge any company for doing stuff like that. It's just, again, if you're doing that in addition to a bunch of other emails, I'm probably going to start to say, like, did this need to be an email? Could these 2 or 3 emails been 1 email maybe? Although there was a weird one where, who was it? Some publisher did a thing. Oni was doing a thing where they've got like a retailer call or something coming up. And the push of it is all these people working on the Archie books and Christian Ward, who's doing a completely different creator-owned book for us. It was like, all right, maybe that could have been 2 emails. That feels weird. It feels like Christian Ward was doing an Archie book, but then it's like, no, he's not. He's doing a non-Archie book. So he just bundled everyone together.
Don't know why I turn my head and cover my like this to.
You're wearing a microphone, Patrick.
I'm wearing a microphone.
Wearing a microphone.
Yeah. Even Felix Comic Art has jumped into this fray with San Diego surprise drops and announcements, and I'm getting daily emails from them.
Sure. I mean, Felix Comic Art, more than anything, is, a direct consumer variant cover business. They represent artists. There's a bunch of other stuff, but the emails are, we are dropping all these absolute and variants or whatever.
Oh, yeah. It was earlier this week. It was, hey, here's all the sketches we have left. They did a massive sketch dump and sold most of them. I got to that. I'm like, well, let me see what it is. Like 20 minutes after the fact, most of it was gone, but honestly, it was nothing I would have bought.
Yeah.
There was one Dan piece, but it was sold, so you never saw what the price was.
Sure. Let's assume out of your price range.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And we're 2 weeks away from San Diego, so it's just going to intensify, like you said.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the show is like this year. New York Comic Con, I think of as definitely more of a publishing announcement show. While there's plenty of non-comic stuff that happens at New York Comic Con,
I'm like, oh man, I went like 10 minutes without coughing. And now a minute in between. It's really only been one full week of this. So when it happened back in spring, it was at least 2 weeks before it started to.
sorry, and it's probably like a vestigial thing from like all the publishers being in New York. But New York, to me, has this feeling of like a lot of publishers exhibit there, a lot of creators are there, a lot of announcements are made. It's an October show, so it's really like, here's the stuff we're doing in the next calendar year. San Diego, for whatever reason, I think it's because its proximity to Hollywood, how quickly that show became the movie trailers and Marvel panels and all that sort of stuff, that it really pushed out the idea of publishing. So even though more publishers are on the West Coast than are on the East Coast, I just think of like announcements for publishing news at San Diego as like a quaint thing of like, yeah, there'll be a couple, but like, I don't expect there to be like a big Marvel panel or a big DC panel. Although it probably will be. I just don't think of that as where those announcements are going to get made.
Yeah.
But in the week ahead of San Diego is usually where you start to get what would normally be in a non-movie TV show convention, the sort of announcements you would get. Like everybody who's going to be announcing stuff in July, we're talking about the end of the year. We're talking about November and December. So we're talking about the sort of launches that are going to come out during like the last push of the year, the big holiday season, miniseries, one-shots, crossovers.
Yeah, so that leads me to
Dan's got a book.
right. So that my point is was going to be that up. Chain Kata, written and drawn by Daniel Warren Johnson, coming out in November from Image.
Mhm.
Why do you announce it now?
Because I think it's a thing that, I don't know if he's going to be at San Diego, but I think it's a thing that their Image is probably going to want to announce alongside their fall slate.
Okay, it's not San Diego yet, and we can't order that book until
Well, and
September.
And so this is the thing, like that's the tricky thing about doing comic announcements for and again, maybe this is just in my mind, not a comic book announcement focused show, is that you kind of have to do it ahead of the convention. Like the press release has to be a week or so before the show, because otherwise it's going to get buried under Robert Downey Jr. announced he's also playing Captain America in the next Avengers movie or whatever. And suddenly that's the news cycle and there's no oxygen left. And that sucks. Like, so you have publishers that still are going to be at the show in some capacity. I don't know if any of them do booths anymore, but they'll have little panels. Their artists will be in Artist Alley. People will want to make announcements for what's happening in the publishing industry later in the year. And this is sort of it. So, yeah, I mean, like Dan and Image can't announce Chankata at New York Comic Con. Book will already be in the catalog.
Yeah.
And San Diego does still, for better or worse, have a sense of like prestige to it. Like when you're announcing around San Diego, it's like, holy shit, this is important. Like, no offense to other conventions, but when you announce something at C2E2 or at WonderCon or at Fan Expo, it's just like, oh, that happened. Yeah, it's weird that guy announced that there instead of New York or San Diego.
It's still exciting. It'll be a great book. It'll do really well for us.
But no, it's a thing that we've complained about a lot over the years, the idea of do not announce this in a way that I can't do anything about it as a retailer. Short of, writing it on a scrap of paper and hoping I remember it in 2 months. The announcement is just, okay, but I can't, like, people will want to pre-order that. Not our customers. Thankfully, I think our customers have learned,
I think they get it.
how to do that. And certainly things like managed comics, something that they have more control over, is something where they'll type Chain Kata in, nothing's going to come up, and they're like, oh, it must not be available for order yet. Prior to that, when everything was you come in and tell us, or you email us and tell us, we would be getting a bunch of phone calls or a bunch of emails saying, can you add Chain Kata for me? And we would say, no, we can't, because it does not exist in a database yet. We don't know how many covers they're doing. We don't have a series code for it. Like, this book exists as a thing that Image is going to publish, but nothing they're actually publishing yet. Also, don't worry, we'll have a lot of copies.
I assume we will.
I feel like it's one we're probably going to carry for the shelf. We haven't discussed it, though. Did you want to carry it for the shelf?
I need to see more about it.
Okay, great.
I can't make that call right now.
You haven't already seen a bunch of original art pages?
I have. I was at Dan's house over 2 years ago for something, and I was in his studio, and he was showing me the plans and what he was doing and pages he had for it already back then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you want a full comic book written and drawn by Dan, it's going to need a head start.
Sure.
These books don't come together quickly, and you need to have a few of them done before you even announce the book is coming out, let alone start publishing it.
The thing that I did not like about the press release from Image is that part of it looks like it's a black and white book. Also, the front cover just has Dan's name, and it doesn't say Daniel Warren Johnson, Mike Spicer, his longtime colorist.
Right.
So is Dan coloring it himself? Probably not. Is it black and white? The art they showed off in the trailer was black and white, some gray tones, but some of the big explosive background words were in color.
Yeah, and we could always ask Dan, but I don't want to do that. I'd rather just pointlessly speculate. I don't think it would be a black and white book. There was a creator that reached out to us 7-8 years ago. Just they had a book that was going to be coming out from Image. They were a creator that we really liked that had worked on other stuff. And they were like, look, I'm thinking about doing this thing black and white because I save a bunch of money printing it and not having a hire colorist. And we were like, I would really recommend not doing that because people are going to make a value judgment on it. And the value judgment is not going to go in your favor. You can do something like do a Powerbomb black and white after
the fact, yeah.
As like a celebration of like, you've seen the book. Now you're going to see it in its original black and white form. If you had launched Do a Powerbomb black and white, it would have been a much tougher sell. It's just an expectation people have of what this material should look like. Again, I don't want to say it's right or wrong. I'm going to say as a retailer, it is harder to sell a black and white book, especially in the current marketplace, especially at the current cover price of comics. If you're going to sell a $3.99 to $4.99 single issue comic book, even if you're DC comic books, I would really not recommend you do it in black and white. I would really, really not recommend that. If that's an aesthetic choice that the creative team wants to make and you as a publisher are comfortable with that, fine. But if you have an expectation for a certain amount of sales that are either desired or needed, I would not do a black and white. So, yeah.
So anyway,
wait and see.
When that creator reached out all those years ago, what happened with Saga?
It wasn't Saga. It was a book that I believe did come out in black and white. I believe it did not do well.
I don't remember what book this is now, but I'll find out later. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's going to be a bunch more announcements coming out. A lot more stuff getting solidified that maybe has been rumored, or publishers that are kind of figuring out what direction things are going to go in. I would assume Marvel and DC are probably going to announce their next crossover at San Diego. I don't have any speculation as to what it is other than just high in the sky, like I think probably Avengers or like X-Men Justice League, maybe.
So you assume there will be another crossover this year?
No, I think they're going to announce one.
Okay.
I don't know if it would come out at the end of this year. I think maybe one of them could come out November, December, and then the other one would come out probably early 2027. That's not what? Well, it's not how they did Batman Deadpool.
It was September, November.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Wasn't Friday?
No. What if, and I promise
Elseworlds. Yeah, that's a good question.
I promise we'll get back to the posters. But what if, you know how Marvel did hey, we're only doing the first week of October, just the midnight books this week.
Yeah.
What if Marvel and DC collectively said, okay, X-Men Justice League, they both come out the exact same day, nothing else.
That's interesting. I don't know if it's great for a couple reasons. One, it's asking the industry to order 2 one-shots non-returnable without having any idea what the demand is going to be. The idea of them spacing them out, like that's what we hated about Superman Spider-Man, is we had to order the Marvel one without knowing how the DC one did.
Yeah.
And so we were like, did we underorder, overorder? Conversely, they gave us plenty of space between Batman and Deadpool, and then we massively overordered Batman Deadpool because we were like, Deadpool Batman sold so great. And it's like, oh, no one cares. So it's tricky.
But it'll defeat the, and that's whoever comes second issue.
Sure. And that's also, so here's other problems. The second one is not only the difficulty of like, what number do you come up with, but then how do you pay for that? Because, there's 40 covers across, or 40 to 50 covers across two different counts.
Sure, but there's nothing else from those publishers that week to offset that.
But these are $8 books. So and also you're ordering, some of these, we order $8 variant covers higher than we would order main covers of $4 comic books without a publisher.
Yeah.
Here's the additional problem. One of the things that we have to constantly tell people about is that these are two different.
Yeah, I know.
If these both come out on the same day, people are going to think it's 50 covers for one book. You're going to have to go, there's another one that came out today, and you're going to have to show them where those, like, we would have to, like, keep them 4 feet apart on the shelves just to be like, understand that these are not two of the same book. Like, these are 20 of one book and 20 of another book. And here's the other additional problem. If you're one of these publishers, you want to launch other stuff from your main brand alongside this because you are going to get a ton of people into the store that might not come back until the next crossover happens. That casual audience, you want to put in front of them a next level book, a new X-Men launch.
Yeah, but I don't know that works because people are coming in exclusively for the crossover and mostly would rather buy a second cover of that than try a new book.
No, I mean, I think we saw some success. I couldn't remember which one, but one of the 4 crossovers that's come out, DC, I think, had launched some other stuff alongside it, and we found some pretty decent adoption because we're able to say, again, you're coming out for this, and you're buying Batman Deadpool or whatever. Here, like, I think, didn't Batman #1 come out the same week as, like, Deadpool Batman or something?
I don't think so.
It was a big launch.
I don't remember that at all.
Now you're...
Okay.
Your UK was making me look this up.
That's fine. You looked it up.
Oh, yeah. And I'm like, yep.
Yeah, but I also don't remember. I didn't think it did.
Let's see that.
I'm going to, while you're looking that up, go back to talking about the posters. So when we sell posters, they're bagged and boarded, and they're in 2 poster bins, poster dumps, in the alley window area of the store, and that is a window that traditionally leaks a lot. But the problem we were having with most of the leaking from this week was not that it was coming in the normal places, that it would either splatter and project into the store or run across the ceiling and drip into the store. So it wasn't until late on the day on Saturday, the day after all the raining, that when I was trying to go fix the posters at the end of the night, just organize them, I noticed that they felt stuck together, like they were almost static together. And it's because a lot of them got splashed on. And then the water that goes between them acts as a seal, and they're hard to pull apart. So they're covered in plastic, and it's important that we point out that the flap is at the top, because if the flap is at the bottom, and this is why I never put my flaps at the bottoms at home, is that the water could still seep into the bag from the bottom, because that's where the flap is, that's where the opening is. But the flaps for the posters are at the top, so if water's at the bottom, it's fine. And also, it wasn't like they were dunked in water, or there wasn't a deluge on the posters. It was just splatter onto the posters. So what I had done was I'd taken all the posters out and lined them up on an angle in front of the new releases and in front of the back issues. So they're all sticking out and not touching each other. So they had a chance to dry off at night. And we left the AC on a little bit higher to help with that. But it was such a neat visual that I took some pictures of it. And rather than just say, hey, the posters all got wet and we're drying them, I made a social post and said that I was pranking you.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah. Most people were on your side.
Oh, that was...
Yeah. Except that they all acknowledged that it did look great. Or whimsical. But how it was unfair of me to do that to you.
That's okay. I'm sure you had it coming.
But in real life, you knew that was happening, and it was super easy just to put them back because they'd be dry by then. But yeah, those pictures on social media did look pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it did lead to me remembering a lot of the pranks that we used to do to other people's stores,
Sure.
which were all real funny.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, buddy, what do you got there?
I mean, I stopped looking.
Oh.
There's too many different books across. Like, there's 4 different releases, and we're talking about 2 different publishers. And we're 36 minutes into this podcast. I don't want it.
Oh, I thought you would have just gone to our website and gone back to.
But then, so this is the thing. Like, and we're talking about this more than I want to. We're talking about Deadpool, Batman, Batman, Deadpool, Superman, Spider-Man, Spider-Man, Superman. So I have to go to 4 different days and look at multiple releases, and it's just not worth doing.
Oh, I'll let this go. But I thought you were just looking at Batman #1 when it came out.
Well, Batman #1 came out 2 weeks before Deadpool, Batman.
Okay.
So that there was a thing in my head where I'm like, I thought it was that one, but since we're talking about 4 different release days over.
Sure. No, I get it. I see why you stopped.
There was a book that came out alongside one of those books by one of those publishers where I was like, this was a good idea because we sold a bunch of it. So even if I could figure out which one, I don't know if that was the one that sold well during it. So I apologize for bringing this up.
I did have a misconception about Deadpool Batman when the first images were released, because that was the first time we saw the brand new Batman logo, which was going to be launching on the Mad Fraction and Jorge Jimenez Batman run.
Yep.
And I looked at it and said, did Marvel do that? Like, did they make their own Batman logo? Because we'd never seen it before, and it was never pointed out, like, hey, this is the new logo. I'm like, I don't know if I want them doing that. That's not good. But no, that was just the actual first use for it. So there.
Mm-hmm.
And in doing that, we've gotten to the end of the store got all wet, and it was gross. And it's less than a week ago for me that it happened, but is it supposed to rain like tomorrow?
I'm sure it'll rain again at some point. I don't know the forecast.
You think it's going to rain sometime? Again? Ever in the history of the world?
Probably at some point.
Oh no, we're doomed. So that was no fun.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
We're still excited to be gearing up for our Matt Kent and Brian Hurt signing.
Sure.
There's some little fun things that I have planned for it. Nothing major, just little fun things. And I felt like there was going to be some other books launching that we were talking to people about doing something with, but I don't actually remember what those were, which is just as well, because it's nothing that we could announce now anyway. But speaking of things that we can only soft announce, we received the art yesterday, and I spent time working today on the formatting for our next bookmark. I say next because we have one ready to go, printed, sitting at the store. We just, we need one to run out before we launch a new one.
Right.
But this is just how far ahead we work.
Yeah.
We have the one after next ready.
Yep.
It's not printed yet, but it was slightly formatted differently. Bookmarks are 2 inches by 6 inches, so we need art 2.25 by 6.25 inches. And this came back at like 2.66 by 8 point something. So there had to be some adjustments, but it worked out fine. I got the mock-ups for both front and the back done. I like it a lot. You saw the art yesterday.
It looks great.
Yeah. So yeah, we still have one whole bookmark that hasn't been debuted yet. And then we have this one lined up as well. And while I did briefly talk with you about a possibility of who we could have design next year's sales shirt, I've done nothing for it.
I think it's okay.
There's time.
Yeah.
There's time.
Barely July.
And it's barely July, as you say, but it is time to start looking at Christmas. Sure. So we've already started our internal Christmas discussions. And again, I'm bringing up stuff that we just we don't have anything to say specifically about that.
No, it's being worked on.
Yeah. Working in retail is just this endless cycle of things needing to be done, specific things every week, specific things every month, specific things every quarter. And it's an unending, like, oh, as soon as you finish doing this one thing, then you want to think about how you're going to do that thing again next year.
Yeah.
But then there's all the stuff getting to it as well. So on the one hand, it's always good to be prepared and to be excited and be ready for it. But on the other hand, it feels like there's just no time to deal with unexpected or unrequested collaborations. I told that story about the people who came in about the crossover comic book sneakers, comic book basketball shoes. And I told them to just email us, and they seemed really disappointed by that. They never emailed us.
No, this is something that I have a huge pet peeve about, and it's we just drop by to chat, like whether it's someone getting us to switch over our electric coverage or wants to give us quote on health insurance or whatever. The quickest way for me to never want to work with your business is to just pop in. Like, I get that we have an open front door, but man, that is a business. Like, we're working. Like, do not just walk up to me and make me stop what I'm doing so that you can try and sell me something. I will never say yes to that. Like, even if it's something I want, it's going to have to be something where, like, you send me an email and we look it over and we get back to you and maybe we schedule a meeting. Also, we probably won't schedule a meeting. I don't want to do that. We can just do everything over email. I don't need the people who will shoot us an email and it's trying to sell us on some bullshit digital media services. And it's always, if you can just hop on for a quick 15 to 20 minute Zoom call and we can go over this. And it's like, I don't want to spend 20 minutes on a Zoom call with your stupid pitch deck. Like, tell me what you're selling. Tell me how much it's going to cost me and tell me what it's going to do for me. If I want it, I will let you know. And popping into the store is the same thing. It is, you're going to stop what you're doing. You're going to have to deal with this. And that's it. Like, so the answer is no. Like, I don't want your pitch. If I wanted your pitch, you would have sent me an email and I would have got back to you. You coming in is ambushing me. I don't want that.
A couple years ago, we were approached by Tune In Chicago about being on an episode of their show. And we did, and it was fun. I'm glad we did it. We had a good time, and it was a neat thing to talk about.
Yeah.
But the number of video calls that I had to do to set that up and all the paperwork that there was makes me not enjoy those types of things. And we got an email this week about somebody giving us an opportunity for something which would make us money, but it ends with, hey, let's jump on like a 15, 20-minute Zoom call to talk about what I'm like, I don't want to do that. Don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And
one of the like memes in business culture is this meeting could have been an email.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, some of it is just people whose job it is to have meetings. Like, this is just how they justify their job, is they're going to have a whole bunch of meetings. And for those of us on the outside of that, it's like, no, this is a huge waste of my time. This does not need to be a meeting. I can handle all this in an email.
Yeah.
That way I can get back to it whenever I have time, and it does not need to be something that stops my day dead so I can do this.
Also, in a situation where our business is run by two people, one of us is on the call. We can't make any decisions or commitments until we talk to the other person. But if it's an email, when we respond, we've had talked to each other. And so we know if we're on the same page and where to go from there.
Right. And we always ask for people who are doing business correspondence to send it to the store's email address so both of us see it.
Yeah.
Even the person who's not physically in the store is like, oh, this sounds cool. Let's do this.
And I acknowledge that there's some people we don't get back to. We're two very busy people. And while we may have the best of intentions, or not, depending on what the project is.
Also, I mean, to be perfectly honest, a lot of the people we get back to are people who are just cold emailing us.
Yeah.
Like, if you came into the store and I said, email me, then I feel a responsibility to get back to you. If you're just cold emailing a ton of places, no, I don't feel the need to get back to you. And I think you understand that when you're sending those out.
Also, we don't have a camera connected to the store computer, and I'm not doing this on my phone. I'm not holding my phone up.
There's just the number of Zoom calls I've had to be on for a business that we work with. I can count on one hand the number of times where it's felt like it was useful to be on a Zoom call.
Sure.
Even someplace we use like Logistified, like they wanted us to do a quick Zoom call to kind of understand like what our business was and how we'd be using their platform. And it was seriously like I scheduled it and there was a hiccup and then I scheduled it again. And I'm thinking like, okay, well, this is going to be 20 to 30 minutes of them explaining how their platform works and walking me through stuff and trying to understand like what we need out of it and making tweaks. It was like 2 minutes.
Huh.
And the 2 minutes was basically just like, okay, well, we'll try and do those things that you want us to do. And no one stepped me through anything. And like, it was just, all right, why did I have to schedule this? Why are we doing this?
I mean, do people just not do phone calls anymore? Like, does it have to be a Zoom call?
It would have felt too much of a, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, too big of a requirement for what essentially was being conveyed. Like, just the email would have been like, I was already emailing you to set up this Zoom call. We could have just done the rest of it through email. I don't get it. And yeah, I mean, if you're sitting at a desk all day, hopping on a quick Zoom call for 15 or 20 minutes probably isn't a big burden for you. But again, like for us at the store, hopping on a quick Zoom call is like, cool, I have to do this on my day off. I have to do this when I get home at night. I have to do this early in the morning before I go to work. Because when I'm at the store, I am doing things. I'm ringing up customers. I'm unpacking orders. I'm shelving books. I'm putting buckets underneath leaves.
No matter what you're doing at the store,
I'm pulling orders. I'm packing orders. So hopping on a quick 15 to 20 minute Zoom call is, I mean, if you are the publisher of DC Comics, I will hop on that phone call. That'll be a good use of my 15 to 20 minutes. If you're anyone in the industry or outside the industry under that level, I don't need it. I'll do an email. We're good.
Anything you're doing in the store has to stop to ring someone up.
Yep.
Unless you're ringing somebody else. You don't stop to ring somebody else up. But the point is, like, that is the number one physical activity that you do at the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
Or at the drop of a comic on a counter.
Yeah. To people who don't know Challenger's layout, we don't have a back office.
Yeah.
This isn't one of those stores where the owner or manager is just sitting in the back office all day doing paperwork or fielding phone calls or answering emails or getting on a quick 15 to 20 minute Zoom call. Sales floor. The store is the sales floor. If you call the store number, it's a sales floor. It's not a back office. It's not a place for long private conversation. It is, I can talk to you for up to 3 minutes before I'm going to get distracted by a customer needing something or some other project that I was in the middle of when you call. So Games Workshop, calling up just to see how things are going. Don't do that. You can maybe schedule a phone call. Again, I'd rather do it in an email because an email, and I hate doing this, Patrick and I have gotten frustrated trying to write emails sometimes because you get halfway through it and it's like, I got to stop it. I got to have something else. But I can stop writing an email way easier than I can put a phone call on hold, than I can put a Zoom call on hold, than I can tell someone who's in the store, hey, stand here for 2 minutes while I go help a customer and then come back. Like an email is way easier to do in pieces during my day, which is why I prefer doing it over email.
This is similar, and it deals with publisher publicity phone calls, marketing phone calls. And when I say phone calls, I mean Zoom calls. I mean presentations. I mean, hey, we're going to talk about, October's books. We have these creators with us. Or, hey, yep. So, and there's a lot of them, and we do some of them if possible. Let me rephrase that. I do some of them if possible. Tomorrow, I've watched over your shoulder a couple of them that you've done in the store because it just got scheduled on like a Wednesday or a Tuesday or something.
When
you were there and around there.
It must have been a Wednesday. It could only have been a Wednesday. But at the same time, like, I'm curious sometimes because it's like, are these valuable? And I mean, no offense to any marketing people that are listening to this and publishers that are doing it and hopefully finding success with them across the retail landscape. I don't find them valuable. I've watched them and been like, again, this could have been an email. I don't need this. I don't need, a creator on a small rectangle telling me about their book. There's better ways to get that information across. There's more like concise and massage messaging that you can do when a professional writer professionally writes a synopsis or a quote or whatever, and a marketing department turns that into a blurb that it tells me what the book is about, who it's for, and whatever. Seeing a group of creators or editors on screen telling me these things is just a longer version of what I could get in an email that I have to stop doing to look at. So I don't, again, it's just, it doesn't feel like it fits into my schedule at all. Even if I have a day off, that it still does not fit into my schedule to have to sit at a screen and watch this for 20 to 30 minutes when I could read it in 5.
I remember very long ago in the early 90s when I lived with my brother and we had a shared computer in our basement that we used. It was a dial-up modem and a wrestling figure that we knew was doing a live like AOL Q&A or something. And we're like, all right, we want to be part of this. We want to be this as it happens. And it was like an hour-long event. But because it was dial-up and it was technologically inferior to what we have today, the entire hour transcript could have been read in like 7 minutes.
Sure.
And the point I was getting at before was that tomorrow there's 3 of these back to back to back, 2 of them from one company. Now, if possible, if one of these is scheduled when I'm working, I will participate. I will join. I will have it on. It will not get my full attention because the store has to get my full attention at all time. The person that comes up to the counter needs to get my full attention. But I will be there as much as I can. And I talked a few weeks ago about how I tried to be on one for the Universal Monsters, and it was a day off. You were out of town, and I got stuck in traffic, and I couldn't connect on my cell phone in the car because I would have happily listened to it in the car on the way home. But yeah, I want to show the publishers that we're receptive to them trying to give us more information, but inevitably, indubitably, the information given on that call is put out later.
Yeah, you had like a week ago, we talked about this on a previous episode, but you had talked me into watching, I think I'm printing out of the store, a live stream DC was doing for this announcement.
Yes. Well, okay. I thought that was going to be different than it was.
And it was, it was literally just solicit text from the catalog that they had not released yet.
On like an animated background.
Yeah, and it took forever. And I wasn't paying full attention to it because, again, it was at work. And I just, like, here's the thing for me. I will read every email a publisher sends out. I read every single email a publisher sends out. When Oni or Dark Horse or DC or Marvel or Image or whoever is sending out an email, if it's a publisher that we stock at the store, if they send me an email, I'm going to read it because I want to know all that stuff. That's crucial for my business. I am never going to get on a Zoom call. A marketing Zoom call, I'm never going to get on because, again, it's just, why is it not an email? And I get if you think,
and it will be an email.
And that's the thing. Like, if you think it's for people who don't read emails, then as someone who does read emails, it's superfluous. I don't need this. I'm already reading the emails. If you're doing it because it's got to be everywhere, fine. I can opt out of that. In the same way that I can opt out of different social media things because I'm like, this does not fit how I want my information. And I'm sorry if that means that like marketing departments have to do a bunch of different channels that they might have to unify their communications across. But
is that a thing?
That is a thing that publishers maybe have to do and maybe marketing departments have to do. And that sucks. It sucks that you can't just send out an email or you can't just do a Zoom call. But yeah, man, like for me personally, I do not want my information via a Zoom call.
Did you see a lung come out? Oh. So far, 8 cough breaks.
What?
Now, we know that publishers pay attention to who does participate in those. And we were...
Patrick always wants to cut it. Patrick wants a little gold star next to his name that says that he was on the Zoom call.
Well, no. What Patrick wants is them to see that Challengers is paying attention and does care about the product. And we were told recently by someone in a publishing sales department that to them that stuff matters. Like they pay attention to who's
Still not going to do it.
yeah. Well, you don't have to because I will.
Right. And I just,
That's why we're a team.
yeah. And I mean, like, there's been things that I know that Skybound will frequently do on their marketing Zoom calls. They will give retailers spoilers. They will say Void Rivals is a Transformers comic. And they will say that Rom is showing up in whatever. They will say that Lara Croft is going to be in G.I. Joe. So, like, there is stuff they put in those Zoom calls specifically because it is spoilery. They don't want to send out an email. And I understand that. I'm still not going to watch a Zoom call just to find out a spoiler.
Sure.
Even if it helps me order better, because it means I got to listen to every goddamn Zoom call now. And I know that they frequently are not worth it. I don't want to call out the DC Hush 2 Zoom call, but I will, as being one that I'm like, this is a tremendous waste of everyone's time, not just the viewers, but also the people that are involved in the creation of this book. Why are they doing this? Why is this a Zoom call? This doesn't, like, I've criticized this before, and it's such a cliched thing of a creator talking about how much a project means to them. And it's like, no shit, it means something to you. Like, your enthusiasm does not mean anything to me as a retailer. I assume that anyone working on something for a living is probably enthusiastic about it. If not emotionally, then financially. Like, I don't care. It doesn't mean anything. And a lot of Zoom calls are just that, where it's like, oh, this is a chance for the creator to really be like, I'm so psyched about this book. These are the best pages I've ever seen. I've loved getting to work on this character. And it's like, I don't care. My customers don't care. Like, I can't sell a Marvel miniseries by saying, this guy's super excited to finally be working on a D-Man comic or whatever. Like, even if I think that's true, which I probably wouldn't, no offense to all those who have worked on D-Man, Kyle Starks. But it doesn't matter. Your enthusiasm is irrelevant to the calculation that a customer is doing when they're looking at the New This Week wall. It doesn't matter.
And it does go back to something that you always say is when you bring out the big name creators for these calls, it's almost a way of saying like, hey, you should join this call. Scott Snyder's going to be on it.
It's just like making retailers into fans at a certain point.
Right. And that's
If to see Scott Snyder say something and it's like, you can read Scott Snyder emails. Like, what's the difference? And the difference is I'm seeing him and it's like, well, that's weird.
But also,
I think that matters.
you want us to be we want to be on the same level.
Right. And again, like, for the record, like, what Scott Snyder has to say about something like DCKO kind of doesn't matter to me either. Like, show me the book. Like, the book
He did, Dal, and the call that I was on, he read the book to us.
and that's cool. Like, sending out,
And then told us what the character's motivation was in each panel when it wasn't visually available.
which again is stuff that, like, that's the sort of thing that you do after a project comes out. And again, that's largely for like fans and stuff. Industry doesn't need to know that ahead of time because, again, what's on the page is what matters. What your intention was as the creator, what you were feeling when you were creating the book. None of that is going to matter when that thing is $5 on the shelves and someone has to make a decision whether to buy it or not. Those are not the data points that are significant for the sale of your book. Those are significant for your fans, like the people who are already going to buy the book and are excited about it and want hype for it. And that shouldn't be the retailers. Like, that's not what we're talking about. I mean, if you want to get retailers hyped up to buy the book, I would rather them be making that decision off of the actual book itself, not their fandom for Scott Snyder, to pull a name out of thin air. Like, that's a weird way to do it because that's not, like, there is an element to selling comics that is, we have to bring our enthusiasm across. We are pitching these books to people. We are trying to find the right book for the right person and impress upon them that this is good and you should read it. You're going to enjoy it. But they have to take it home and read it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So me saying how good it is or how much I like it is as significant as how much a creator enjoyed working on the book. At the end of the day, it has to be the right book for the right person and the book itself has to be good. So, like, all of these things to get us emotionally invested in the people behind the scenes or the marketing aspects of it feel like sleight of hand, basically. It's not the things that we need to do our job. it's the things that make us feel, parasocially involved in this process when it's not. Like, you're the customer. Like, you, the retailer, are not a part of this project. You're the one buying it. You hopefully will resell it onto someone, the end consumer, but that end consumer is not the one buying it from Image, DC, Marvel, Scott Snyder, whoever. It's you, the retailer. So, like, being kind of taken in by some of the bread and circuses of it all, I don't know if that's always felt weirdly unhealthy to me. And I don't know that this is any different than a million different like CinemaCon things where a bunch of theater owners go to a glitzy convention hall to have, movie stars come out on stage and say how excited they are about this movie. And you're going to watch a 5-minute clip. And those same, theater owners are going to decide how many screens the movie goes on or whatever. But instead of looking at the hard data or understanding like the larger market trends, you're like, I saw Emma Stone on stage. She said she was excited about this movie. That's great.
Nicole Kidman told me that heartbreak feels good in a place like this.
Yeah.
I just want to point out that I'm trying to eat low carb, and you're talking about bread and circuses, two things I love eating. Is this a bad time for us to announce that we're starting our own marketing calls where creators can watch us talk about the numbers for their books?
I genuinely feel bad sometimes when I go off on a rant about marketing in the comics industry because I'm basically saying, because I know there's marketing people who listen to this podcast, and I never or did listen until they just turned it off, I guess, threw their phone against the wall. I never want it to be a thing where I'm saying that their jobs aren't valuable. What I'm saying is like a lot of the ways that the market kind of demands they behave or incentivizes them to behave are things that I personally don't value. And I don't know the effectiveness or efficacy of anything they're doing. Like I'm sure that they will tell you anecdotally and through data that the things they're doing that I think are pointless or insulting or not conducive to me doing my job well are the exact things that are driving engagement from retailers, fans, the public, and so on. So I can never speak to it on that level. I'm not trying to tell them how to do their jobs. I'm saying for me as a human being, these things that I see marketing people doing are all a distraction to me. I don't want that. I just want a daily email that says like, again, here's Image does things where it's like, here's what's back in stock. Great, done. Here's what's on FOC this week. Great, done. Here's an announcement about a book that we got coming out in, 2 to 8 months. Great. I love knowing about that stuff because my customers are going to ask about it. I need to know what they're talking about. I will never forget Kieran Gillen announcing Die through like Entertainment Weekly or something. And then we didn't get an email about it until like hours later. And I had customers calling up in the meantime because they had already heard about it. And I was like, what? Do you mean the Robert Kirkman comic? Die.
The Chris Burnham one?
And it was like, no.
Which we still have a t-shirt of the logo available for sale in the store?
No, Kieran Gillen. It's called Die. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. No, we don't have that. What? And then a few hours later, we got the actual press release from Image saying, Kieran Gillen, Stephanie Hodger in this fantasy comic died. And it's like, well, where was that info when I needed it? An hour and a half ago when I got a phone call from a subscriber.
What was that Jamie McKelvey announced book that never happened? That we had somebody come in to ask for?
Oh, man, I don't even remember.
But you remember the situation.
I do, yeah.
And you remember the club member as well.
I think I do. That and Frontier from Jonathan Hickman are coming out the same.
Yep. Yeah, also, Parisian White.
Yeah. And the next issue of the Jamie McKelvey distillery book. So anyway, marketing, I hope it's easier for marketers than it is for me.
This is why we never approach this podcast as this is what you should do if you own a comic book store. This is just our take on what we do. And as anybody in the industry knows, there's 2,000 different ways to do the same thing,
right? Or
2,000 different opinions on the same subject. And I would hate to be somebody that has to sift through those and figure out what is going to work for my company.
Yeah, I mean,
as a publisher,
I wouldn't want any publisher market.
Don't put the barcode here. Put the barcode that way. Turn the barcode upside down. Only make the barcode red. Put the barcode diagonally across the whole cover. Never put the barcode on the cover.
Or marketer to listen to me. I don't want that. Like, it's not a thing where I'm saying like, this is actionable data so much as it's just like, I'm venting about this thing. And again, you have data that says how you're going to do these things. And if you hear enough of this from enough people, maybe you'll do something differently, or maybe you'll do more of one thing or another. For me, there's just things in the industry, specifically the publishing retailing side of the industry, that make me uncomfortable. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
That's all you need to say. Thanks for listening.
Keep reading comics.
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155. Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com and help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.